Hi, welcome to Physionic, where we learn the body from the macro to the micro. If that's something you think you'd be interested in, then consider subscribing. In this piece of content, I'm going to be showing you a bit of data on how humans that consumed mass amounts of fructose, how that impacted their health.
Learn Your Body, a science-based education.
Now, this research comes out of a paper that I dissected, and you can check out all of my notes as well as the paper itself so that you can read through it for your own edification. And of course, amendments may follow afterwards as well, which you can also find linked there. So with that said, how did they go about this study? So they had 10 healthy young male participants that consumed mass amounts of fructose, 150 grams of fructose every single day for 8 weeks, and they were compared against themselves, but also against another group, a positive control, that had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, so not in the healthiest shape. They had 11 of those participants, although some of the measures they only did on 5 of the positive controls. So just as some added information, just to make sure that we get everything that's really important out there. Now, in terms of how they went about this, they had a baseline measure, which is before they gave these individuals the 150 grams of fructose per day, and then the individuals came in at the 8-week mark and came in for more blood tests and things of that nature. So then they're able to compare the kind of pre-fructose to after fructose after 2 months of consumption. Now, the 150 grams were supplied to them, and food consumption was loosely tracked by measuring cups and things of that nature. So they didn't necessarily weigh everything out that they ate throughout a day, but they did track throughout those 8 weeks. So now looking at the data, you can see that the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease individuals obviously had worse outcomes in essentially every single category, even at baseline, compared to the 10 healthy participants that ended up being in that fructose condition. However, that's not that surprising. That should be the case. However, if you look at what happens 8 weeks later, if you compare the baseline individuals to themselves 8 weeks later after consuming 150 grams of fructose on top of their regular diet, what ended up happening? Well, you saw decreases in their BMI. And not only that, their glucose tolerance also improved. And every other marker, liver health, cholesterol, things of that nature, all of those stayed completely normal. So no changes between the baseline and afterwards. Now, of course, the assumption is that the healthy individuals were healthy at the beginning, and they largely were. So here, it's pretty good evidence that at least mass amounts of fructose for 8 weeks, which is a long, long time, does not seem to have a detrimental impact based off of these measures. Now, interestingly, their energy intake was not different. However, the proportion of their energy intake did change. So while fructose, of course, massively increased, their sucrose, or their other sugars, actually massively decreased. So there's a little bit of an amelioration there. That might be one of the reasons, at least, for why you don't see these mass changes in their energy intake. So overall, what can we take away from this paper? Well, essentially, that 150 grams of fructose for a relatively long time, 2-month period, does not seem to have any negative impact on healthy individuals from the start. This does not mean that if you have high cholesterol from the beginning, or high blood pressure, or have liver disease or something of that nature, that you will have the same result. You could have divergent or negative health outcomes in that situation. However, if you're healthy, consuming 150 grams while not gaining weight, that's another key aspect, it does not seem to have any negative health outcomes based on the ones that we measured here, based on this study. So hopefully you found this informative, and with that said, I hope I have the pleasure of speaking with you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.